you know what? Let's start this podcast with a cheers. This is the Halloween podcast.
Happy Halloween.
The Doug Stanhope Shotclog Podcast, guest hosted by none other than Chad Shank. Yay.
Thank you, guys.
What a great night.
This was a fun fucking Halloween.
I have to tell you, I was reticent to get up this morning early and then go schlep flyers around town because I thought someone would yell at me. And I'm going to go pick up the fly. I'm not going to be that douchebag.
Yeah.
I'm going to go, and I know my route. This is my walking route. And I'm going to go pick up those fucking flyers so that everyone's not looking at something from October in January.
Well, there's a lot of dumb motherfuckers here too, so people will be showing up every day not realizing what date you're supposed to show up to. So
another reason. And also, at a telephone pole, you see all those staples? Don't staple. One wrap of tape will outlast your event. Your event will be long gone by the time that tape will let go of that paper, right? So, tonight surpassed any kind of projection I would have had for the haunting, the black knob butcher of Bisbee. It was fucking great.
I had no expectations, but I know you fucking made me up to look fucking badass. I didn't want to take it off at the end when we were done. I was like, I want to still be this guy.
You were at one point, we still had an hour and 15 minutes to go, and you're like, I'm tired. And then you fucking cracked a beer, and it's like, hey, you can take a break. He's like, no, let's go. And you're still drinking beer. It was fantastic. It was a great night. We ran out of full-size candy bars. That was part of the spiel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know how many to expect, but there was a lot. We didn't get that many breaks. It was like playing street hockey or something. Car! Everybody duck into their spots.
No, it's fantastic. It was I haven't had that many. I mean, when we were in Alaska, we lived in a neighborhood, like a loop, not a cul-de-sac, but it was like a loop, right? And we had like 100 kids one night. We had one kid. At the door, there was like a group of kids, and they're all like, you can see over them, right? You could see over every single one of them. And then there was a gentleman in a football jersey at the end. And I was like, oh, that's so nice that, he walks the kids around. And then he comes to the door and goes, trick or treat. and like shoves this like pillowcase.
A full-grown dude.
Fucking A. He had a mustache, dude. And I've known a guy who had a mustache in fucking like sophomore year, right? This guy was a fucking sophomore. He's like a fucking, like a Samoan dude in Anchorage who not only was walking all the kids around, but scored heavy on candy. He didn't have to snatch any bags.
I think we had a few tonight that left without getting any candy.
There are people who drove by the house and kept going.
Slowed down and looked at the zombie.
So nice.
I can't decide which was my favorite one. The little girls who jumped into their dad's van and yelling screaming at him to go was great.
But the last one of the night when it was past the time, 9:00, we stopped because our fucking neighbors, the canyon we live in or the gully we live in, everything broadcasts. So they're listening to our fucking looping minute and a half of horrible screams. 3 hours is enough, right? It's enough for us. It's enough for them who have no fucking interest in
all their lights are off.
Their porch lights are off. Yeah. We should have been egging their house. So yeah, when that kid, I went up to the car and said, hey, yeah, we're closed, and I thought it was just the two of them because we started getting older people coming by thinking it was a haunted house, and then the window rolled down. It's like a scene in a movie. It's like, hey, you two, sorry, the moose should have told you at the front. We're closed now. And then the window rolls down, and I see this kid with his mask up on his head, and she's like, "There's only one kid, is there?" I'm like, put the windows up. I'll give you the sign. And it was like silent.
All the props were away.
Yeah. And you came out and you didn't even come out. You're like regular. Chad was the butcher of Black Knob, which he'll be that forever now. And there was no audio and all the props were gone. But this kid, when he went up to the door, Tracey gave him no full-size candy. Sorry about that. And then the way he just said, Happy Halloween at the end.
We walked down. I didn't come out and yell because he was little and he was timid, and I just kind of went around the side.
Good read, by the way. You've got probably bedwetter after tonight.
Oh, yeah. And I just stood still and just moved slightly so he knew that I was a person, and then he just stopped and he's looking at me and didn't know what to do. And then he just real slow waved, like with just his fingers, bringing his fingers up and down.
Don't kill me.
Yeah, and then he goes, Happy Halloween.
Oh, my God. Yeah. That was a good. And the girls,
and the lady who left her baby there in the baby carriage and just fucking ran out into the street. That was the thing,
is that like where we live, Black Knob View is if you walk it, the loop, it's 2 roads with a canal in between, right? If you walk that loop, it's a mile. So a lot of people walk it in the morning, right? We had so many people down that road that probably didn't even know Black Knob existed. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That was amazing to me. And we had a lot of groups of like 8 or 9 people. 10 people would roll up in a SUV and they'd come in, and this group offloaded a baby carriage and then had the kids go up front. And clearly the most scared person was pushing the carriage. And the way that the scare was is Tracey would be at the top of the steps and invite them in, and I'm to the left of the steps in a ghillie suit, which is a camouflage suit, and I look like a bunch of leaves and debris.
Shadows, yeah.
And Chad is to the right, and he is in a murder butcher scene with a fucking bloody axe and blood all over him.
The button that hit strobe lights and bells and shit.
When Tracey says Happy Halloween, Chad knows, hit the button, and then the audio changes, the lights change, and then he comes out, and that got her, because she never even got up the steps, because the carriage was at the bottom of the steps. That got her to the extent that she was freaked out. And then I rise out of a pile of trash. And the two things combined, she bolted and left the baby in the carriage at the steps.
The unscared baby.
Scared.
If I would have saw there was a baby, I would have took it easy, but it was blocked from view. Yeah.
Because the steps on the side, it was blocking the way. Yeah. And at the same time, a kid that was in that same group walked right by the baby to the SUV.
Oh, that was fucking great. Such a great night. You guys even talked about going to the bar. I was even tempted to go to the bar because I was having such a good time, but I'm glad we didn't do that.
You know what? Sometimes you push it.
Yeah, that's it.
Actually, we're doing all right. We pre-gamed a little here. We don't have to say anything.
Oh, I think it'll
kick in.
Yeah, be self-evident for a little while.
You're smiling.
Yeah.
So that was a very memorable scare. The leaving your kid with Tracey and Ggreg and Chad. That was a memorable scare. The kids rushing off into the car, and the dad taking off before the door was shut. That was good too. Yeah. And we Vine. Oh, and by the way, we Vine and Periscoped the scenes tonight, so we'll put those in the show notes. And by the way, if you see a time schedule on a haunt, fucking don't push it. This is not Applebee's where we'll take you at like right at 9 o'clock. Like, all right, look, we're usually closed, but if you just order off the appetizer menu, it's cool. No, guess what? At 9 o'clock, we are in the Funhouse podcasting. Yeah. We're done, motherfucker.
There was a basket of arms and legs right here. You missed that. Explaining it to him.
All the silence you hear was carefully crafted audio soundscapes. Trick or treat. What was those one people came up and they said, is this the haunted house? And we have this elaborate setup. We have props from my brother's company, Ghost Ride, and we've got fucking smoke machines. We've got audio going on. We've got shit happening. You can tell there's, and the kid goes, is this the haunted house? And Tracey, what did you say?
It's like, well, it's right here.
She pointed out and said, well, this is what it is, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which
the
is,
front yard.
for that kid, that's a broad statement. Look, that car you came in, this is what it is, bro.
Here it is.
And then he turns to the car and says, this ain't the haunted house. It's only trick or treat.
Oh, yeah.
Only trick or treat. Fuck you, motherfucker.
I thought you were talking about when you first started to tell that story. I thought you were talking about the ones that just came up and went, candy! 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 Like, I'm hiding around the side of the house and I just hear this little fuck yelling candy like 7 times. Like,
because you're on the side of the house, you're waiting, because you're all bloodied up and butchered, that you have to hide yourself until sometimes you're hiding on the side of the house. Sometimes you're crouched behind a trash can.
yeah.
Waiting to trip the trigger.
I tried to mix it up in case many people were telling their friends. He comes from the side of the house.
Oh, he got me! Candy. What the fuck is that?
It was because...
See, that's why you need a mic.
Whoever.
We can share.
It was because I was being the silent. I would beckon them in.
You would be at the top of the steps,
waiting.
and you would expertly wave them in like an apparition
Under eerie lights.
Under eerie lights. Yeah, exactly.
And then when they got up towards the top of the stairs, there wasn't a door for them to knock on.
Exactly.
To say trick or treat. So I would lean over towards them with my hand cupped around my ear, like I was going, "What do you say?" This kid just goes, "Candy." And so I leaned over a little further and he goes, "Candy."
Like you were deaf.
Like I'm deaf as I'm leaning closer and closer. And I'm waiting for the magic words, which are, of course, trick or treat. So eventually I said, "Trick or treat?" And he goes, "Oh, trick or treat." Okay, there you go. Get out of here.
Oh, I wonder how much luck he had screaming candy at every other house that he went.
With a porch light out.
Candy!
He doesn't understand any of the basics of Halloween. If the porch light's out, you don't fucking go to the door, right?
We made a few concessions tonight. There was a group of kids that were in the right target age range, but they weren't wearing costumes, so we let them go ahead and
they were in the demographic that you really wanted to scare.
Yeah.
Having just exited the 18 and under or 17 and under parenthood, you put that axe to good use. What a fun night.
Great night. Thank you, guys.
I'm trying to... Late to the haunt, we got that. Leaving the kid in the stroller. We almost adopted a kid, all 3 of us.
That wasn't even the first one. Those ones left one. One of them voluntarily ran into the house and climbed into Tracey's arms. She had to carry the kid out to her parents. She wouldn't go back down the steps. So.
And the parents wouldn't come and get her either.
Okay, stop. We're gonna stop right now. I'm gonna put a mic right here, and then you don't have to talk into it because you probably won't. But you keep talking, and I want to put a mic in front of you.
That's a good plan.
Yes. Let's take a break.
I need a beer anyway.
Let's take a break.
Get a drink.
Yes.
Hey, UK merch is on sale. Where? In the UK? No, just on the website. Can't deal with all those problems with selling merch in the UK, but you can get UK t-shirts on the website at DougStanhope.com and posters. We have, Jim Ether's doing posters too? We got posters. We have t-shirts. We have everything you need to go out in public naked. A poster to cover your genitals and a t-shirt to cover your voluptuous man top. And go to DougStanhope.com and look for the merchandise page, My World Tour, *, places that speak English that will still book me. Yeah.
Hello, this is Chewbacca, and you're listening to the Doug Stanhope Podcast.
Let's do this. I just ate carrots. That's a very violent thing to do.
Eating carrots?
It just felt weird. Because there's Twizzlers. It's just like...
I get what you're saying.
Everything is really loud and
domestication. Yeah.
Just really obnoxious.
Yeah. I was eating almonds the other day, and I wasn't even under the influence of anything to make me feel like that. And almonds were like that. I was like, this is fucking very violent.
Is it so loud for everyone else too?
Turning the TV up.
Oh, Chad, I'm gonna think of almonds. I'm gonna. I didn't eat candy. I eat 2 little 3-packs of Whoppers during the entire night. And I did not have a full-size candy bar, which you did not either.
No. Saved them for the...
You want half a Twizzler?
No, I'm good. Thank you. I'm having Bud Light right now.
This is probably the worst time to eat a Twizzler. Chad, say something.
I don't know what to say. What are we talking about? I don't know what any topics are.
There's that. I pitch it to you because I have Twizzler in my mouth, and you go, "What are we talking about?"
Yeah,
you ask me a question.
Yeah, you're supposed to be the producer. I'm just the fucking guy that shows up.
Yeah, I'm the guy who just makes sure you show up.
Yeah.
So, one thing I noticed was tonight, Halloween night, early on, we had a large group. It was over 10 people. And they were definitely Hispanic. And they would not, like after the big reveal of Chad Shank with the axe and the blood and, hey kids, don't do drugs or whatever the fuck, right? There were a couple of guys where I'm like, oh, this could be a situation. Like the Mexican guys.
Did you feel that?
Yeah. Oh,
see, I never did.
I feel it?
I never did. I'm usually right on with that, but I was having a good time with this. But I did notice people that would linger long after that was awkward.
Hey, adults, how long do you need to prolong you milling around with the guy who's supposed to scare everyone because it's a faux, it's not reality. It's a make believe. And yet you are continuing to like, see how bad I am. That's how I read it. Yeah. Maybe that's not how they did it, but I felt like that whole thing.
I think if I was being me, I would have definitely read it the same way. But since I wasn't, I was just having a fucking fun time and being fucking Halloween.
Chad was wearing a mask.
I fucking love it.
Chad was wearing a mask.
I was behind the mask. I was dressed as a monster, but I really wasn't one.
But it was like, it could have turned into an assault. That's my paranoid,
your paranoid thing. I'm going with all the assault charges.
But you didn't pick up on that. So I was off because I felt like this group, like, why do you keep, like, the adults were still next to you. The kids were gone and they kept pushing it. And it's like, all right. And I remember there was one gal who could be like, I'm not afraid. She kept hitting you. It's like, wait, that's assault now, what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was early on. That was one of the first groups we had. I know exactly the group you're talking about now. And I was still trying to get into what I was doing at that time too. And I think that's what threw me as well. Yeah. So I didn't have time to really. But
she gave you a soft assault.
Yeah. That's my fear of every time I leave the house is I'm going to assault somebody and for no reason. I don't have to have a good reason.
No, the the giant convenience store. That was,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, the Napa Auto
the
Parts
beef
guy.
over beef jerky.
Yeah. Yeah,
The beef jerky beef.
I definitely have a history. The one time I have when I was a kid, this happened when I was probably, I don't know, I had something like 16 or 17. I worked at Safeway when I was a kid as like a bag boy. And I was able to restrain myself.
You rounded up the carts because you talked about that in the last podcast. It's like that was a gift to be able to go round up the carts.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's exactly it. One time I did restrain myself because I was bagging groceries and it was real busy. And I had to go outside and get a second cart because the order was so big. I had to get a second cart.
Wow.
So I'm like, holy shit. So I ran outside. And when I went outside, there was a guy, and I guess now I would describe him as like mentally disabled, homeless guy maybe. But I didn't know this at the time.
Yeah.
But he had bought a plum earlier and put it in like a little produce bag. They put it in a little produce bag, and he was outside. So when I went outside to get a cart, this guy threw his bag from his plum on the floor and said, "What are you going to do about it?" And I was like, what the fuck? Normally, I think I would have responded and just fucking been pissed off. But I was like, I don't fucking own Safeway. I don't fucking care. I have to pick it up regardless. I have to pick up all the trash. So he was trying to provoke somebody to fight him. And it didn't work. I was like, all right, whatever, dude. And then he said, I fucked your mom in the ass. Well, then that provoked me.
But now he's directing his anger.
Apparently he is exactly what he wanted to do. But when I was a kid, that was an easy way to provoke me. Like I said, it doesn't take very much anyway. So I felt like I had to at that point. So this guy said, and I was like, what? And I turned around and he says, I fucked your mom in the ass. And I just punched him. I just laid into him as hard as I could. And he started to fall backwards. As he was falling backwards, I hear my boss behind me. Chad! Oh shit. I turn around. No boss. He wasn't there. He just stuck his head out the door and yelled my name because I was taking too long bringing the cart in. So I was like, oh fuck. I got away. I went inside, finished bagging groceries.
I'm helping this man who clearly has a medical situation to the...
This man fell.
No, he can't even see me. No. Yeah, be right there, boss.
Yeah, fuck this guy. So I left that guy falling down and I ran back inside, hurried up, finished bagging groceries, and I ran back outside and he was already all the way across the parking lot. So I'm running across the parking lot screaming at him and he keeps repeating the same thing. Fucked your mom in the ass. I fucked your mom in the ass. Just over and over. And I'm screaming at him. There's old people in the Safeway looking at me and I'm when I catch you, you're going to wish you were never born, motherfucker. And stupid shit. And, he took off and I had to go back to work. I didn't want to lose my job. So I went back to work and I went looking for him later on in the afternoon.
Like cruised around?
Yeah. I went to where all the homeless people were. Really? Yeah. It was fucking bad.
V for Vendetta.
Yeah. And I couldn't find him.
Of course not. Because you're standing in front of me. You're not in the penitentiary.
Well, I did find him eventually.
Oh.
Maybe 2 or 3 days later, my friend told me, I'm going to go wash my truck. Let's go. You know, want to go with me. So we pull into the car wash. Or no, we pulled up to Circle K. This is when remember I told you we used to steal beer from the back of Safeway when I worked at Safeway?
You'd throw beer in the dumpster and then pick it up later.
So my friend and I had stolen Safeway beer, and we wanted to go and drink it. We'd make an excuse to go drink it, and car wash was good. We went to the car wash, but we pulled up at the convenience store next to the car wash to get ice first.
Ice for your stolen beer.
From our stolen beer. And I told my friend, that's that dude on the payphone right there.
Oh, he's out in front.
K. He's on the payphone.
Payphone. That means it's a while ago.
As I said, I was probably 16, 17 years old.
Just giving it a Back to the Future spin to this thing.
But it was good because my friend's like, let me go park in the car wash. You know, don't do anything till I get out of here. So I get out and he goes over to the car wash and I walked around the side and I just stood there waiting for the guy to get off the payphone. And, he hangs up the phone and turns around and sees me and recognizes me instantly and says, And I was like, hey, how you remember me? And he drops his head and goes, I got to go inside and get my brother. This is, I don't know.
Backup.
He was like, this is probably, I don't know. The guy was probably in his mid 40s, 50s or so. He was like an older guy. And I said, you go ahead. You get whoever the fuck you want, buddy. But I still stood there blocking him. So he tried to walk past me and I just kept blocking his fucking way. And then I just laid into him and punched him. Well, when I punched him, he didn't fight back. He just turned around and put his hands over his head and hit his face against the wall.
Like defensive.
Yeah, but with facing away from me. And I didn't know what to do. But I was already all charged up and fucking violent. I jumped up in the air and kicked him in the back of the head and smashed all of his teeth out on the fucking wall.
Chad, do you want to tell the story?
So he spins back off of the wall after that. And then I start punching him in the head. And then
you kept hitting him?
He wasn't on the ground yet. So then, once again, I kind of out of a fog, people, what are you doing? I called the cops. Somebody told me I already called the cops. So I was just like, oh, fuck. So I hurried up and ran and got in my buddy's truck parked in the car wash, and we hauled ass. And I left and went to my other friend's house, and I was up there he's putting a stereo in his car. I just pretended that we've just been hanging out over there. But this is a town of like 5,000 people. So somebody had already told the cops who I was.
Sure.
The cops had already contacted my mom. So my mom pulls up over at my friend's house. And what's going on? And I'm like, nothing. We're just putting a radio in Chris's car. Still have not looked that I have blood all over my hands and my arm.
Installing a car radio.
I'm not even doing it. I'm standing there watching other people do it. But so she said, no, what is going on? She's like, the cops called me. They're looking for you. We have to get down there right now. I'm like, oh shit. So I get in the car with my mom and she takes me down to the police station. Hold on. I have to drink beer. My mushrooms are making me hard to talk.
I'll drink a beer or wine.
So we go to the police station, and the guy asked me exactly what happened. I told him the whole story.
The cop.
You're
being interviewed.
The chief of police.
Hold on a second. You walked in to the police station and said what?
My mom took me in, and because they had already called her, and she said, here he is, because they already knew they were looking for me, and that was so. The chief of police sat me down, and
So, young man, you're turning yourself in for what?
He just said, tell me what happened. And I told him the story exactly like I told you guys from the very beginning, what this guy said. And that was when he started to tell me, he says, Chad, do you realize the damage that you inflicted on this man? And I said, no, I just fought him and then I left. And he's like, well, he doesn't have any teeth. And he says, his face looks like hamburger. And I remember wanting to fucking laugh my ass off because the chief of police just told me that the guy's face looked like hamburger. And, but I said, I don't, I stood my ground. I told him that I wouldn't do anything different. The guy fucking insulted me and wanted to keep provoking me. And he got as far as I was concerned, he got what he was asking for, what he wanted. And, that's when instead of arresting me, the chief of police told me that, when they got there, the guy just wanted to get on a Greyhound bus and leave. He didn't want to talk to any cops. Wow. Well, what had happened is over those few days, since it first happened, when I first ran into this guy, he had been on payphones all over town calling businesses saying pretty much the same thing he had said to me.
Oh.
So the police were already looking for this guy for prank calling with obscene phone calls all over town.
You're like the Dark Knight, dude.
Yeah. I ran this toothless hamburger face fucker out of town on a Greyhound. So
this is a feel good story. Yeah. Halfway through, I'm hating myself for letting you continue. And then it turns out, you did a good thing.
I was the hero in that case.
I'm pretty fucked up right now.
Yeah, I think I am too. So that was that story. I don't know if it was that good or not.
But as you're telling the story, I'm assessing how fucked up I am, and then seeing the smoke. just because I see it doesn't mean it's for everyone. But, yeah. It's a weird thing. Do you want to talk about the purse snatcher?
The purse snatcher story would redeem me a little bit because I was not as violent in that when that happened.
Wait, hold on a second. You redeemed yourself. That guy was a shitbag.
Yeah, I didn't know that at the time, though.
You didn't know it, but being the Dark Knight,
I knew that I was right.
You had an impulse that turned out being right for the viewers at home.
Listen, if you're going to be going to towns making obscene phone calls, you might get your teeth kicked out by a guy.
What kind of job?
Okay.
He's panhandling and spending that money.
Exactly. Yeah, it was 25 cents a call.
What the fuck is that? Yeah, it wasn't even a dime.
No,
it was 25 cents. You're cleaning the streets.
Well, this was during a time that I was trying to be peaceful. I was trying to get. I tried
You're Buddhist. Is this your blue period?
I went through. I was studying some Buddhism, and I wanted to see things different. I had a lot of road rage, and so one of the things I did instead of having road rage, I was like, "That motherfucker's a moron. He did this." I was like, "Well, you're just making up that story that he's a moron. You don't really know for sure that he's a moron. You're just assuming."
You're jumping to conclusions.
So just make up a different story. This was part of my Buddhist teachings. And I said, so then if I could practice compassion, if somebody cut me off or acted like an asshole, I could say like, that guy's mother is in the hospital and he's not paying attention to the way he drives. And I hope that his mother is okay. And I tried to do that for a little while, but you can't change your fucking spots. I just am what I am. I just stay home. I don't hurt nobody, but I'm fucking evil. But while I was trying to be peaceful, I was going to Walmart, and a lady was walking around the side. I was parked on the side of Walmart, and a lady walked around the side of Walmart, and this guy came right around behind her and snatched her purse off her shoulder and drug it down.
In Walmart?
Or outside, around the side of Walmart. Okay. Yeah, I parked right around the side. And one of the funny things is she had a giant, like, 32-ounce soda or bigger. And I guess it was the only thing she could think to do, but she fucking blasted him right in the back of the head with it after he stole
Great
her
idea.
purse. Yeah, she fucking nailed him with the soda. So I'm laughing at that point, but he ran right past me. So I was like, well, fuck it. I gotta chase this guy. I chased after him.
The Dark Knight.
I yelled at him. Stop, motherfucker, I'll shoot you. But I didn't have a gun.
Yeah, he's running away. He's drenched in Diet Coke. He has no idea.
Yeah. He said, no, I don't have a gun.
Yeah.
He called my bluff, that motherfucker. Okay. I was in a little better shape than I am now, too, so I could run a little bit.
You almost caught up with him?
But it was in my hometown, and I knew that where they built the Walmart.
You knew the edge of town.
There used to be.
we were almost at the edge of town.
No, there used to be a mobile home park there.
Yeah.
Trailer park, and it was called Patio Park. And it was called that because every mobile home had its own concrete slab patio.
That's a selling point.
So, hey, that's a fucking high-end trailer park right there. So this is not funny to anybody but us.
Super funny to us right now.
You're almost there.
So the guy's running and I'm chasing him, and I knew that he was about to encounter these patios in the middle of this desert.
Sure.
So I circumvented that, ran around.
Okay.
And then I heard when I knew exactly what it was. He tripped and slid across a fucking concrete patio. So I ran that way.
Like ice, like hitting ice, right?
Yeah, that's unmistakable. You know that sound. And I caught up with him just as he hit like an 8-foot, I almost say barbed wire, but that's because I'm fucked up. What's the other word? Chain link fence. And it's like 8 feet tall, is around a radio station. And he goes up over this chain link fence, and I go up right behind him over the chain link fence. Punctured my hand on the top. I had to go get a fucking tetanus shot. And as I hit the ground in a crouch on the other side of the fence, I look up.
Like the Dark Knight.
And And this is just how I see it in my head. I'm sure it was a lot more awkward, but
it's exactly how I'm seeing it.
But as I look up, he has a knife in his hand, and he's going, "Fuck you! Leave me alone!"
In a balloon bubble,
and it's a little, and it's a little tiny knife. Like he'd have to stab me with it a lot to do damage. Like I could take,
like you'd scrape your cuticle back.
Yeah. It might have been toenail clippers. I'm not even sure. It was dark, but it was. As I was still like crouched down because I jumped off this fence. So as I looked up and saw him and he's yelling at me and he has this little knife out, I looked down and there's a big giant rock right there. So I just picked up a big rock and then stepped to where there's no way he can stab me, but there's no way I can miss his face. And I just yelled at him and he was, and I remember he yelled, he says, "Fucking leave me alone. I need it." And I told him, "You don't need it more than the motherfucker that earned it. You motherfucker, give it back." And then I think I even yelled at him that there was people who would help him if he needed help or some fucking dumb shit.
Once again.
Yeah, I was trying my best.
The Dark Knight.
I was trying my best to be a good person.
Public servant.
Oh, I fucking wish I would have hit that guy with a fucking rock. If I would have known that less than a year later I would abandon all those peaceful beliefs and I could have justifiably fucking hit that guy with a 3-pound rock in the face, I would have done it different. But
he didn't have the telltale silver paint.
He was not high as far as I could tell, but he did throw me the purse immediately and then just ran away.
And you returned it.
And I returned it. That's the end of that fucking story. My stories always just peter out. I don't know how to end it.
Like a superhero. Are you kidding? No!
I went back to the phone booth and I put on my regular street clothes.
and walked out of a phone booth with a purse.
I don't even think she had any money in it. Fucking asshole.
Cat food.
I put a microphone and then you still, no. Oh, actually, it's not even on. I turned it off. All right. Well, I have one story from a haunted house. My brother and I had a haunted house a couple years ago in Seattle. This being Halloween.
You have 20 seconds to tater tots. I gotta go.
Okay. That's why I took the time to put a microphone in front of you and to turn it off.
Well, you turned it off.
The first Dark Knight, I think we need some kind of a moniker for you now. I just picked Dark Knight because it seems like a vigilante type of.
I'm running out of stories now.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. There's plenty of convenience stores between here and where you live.
That's true.
So, yeah, this is the only time I could actually tell this. We had a haunted house a couple of years ago in Seattle, and I remember we ran it for 2 years, and it was like this whole, like you would, like tonight, like the lady leaving the kid at the steps and people being scared. That's what gets you going, right?
Definitely.
But I had an earpiece. My brother and I were always in constant contact with what was happening. Like we had a full system set up, and I was doing audio, and I remember these guys, like they went through and they were assaulting people. Like
the
they
workers?
Yeah, and they were like throwing punches. It's a common thing for me to follow them from that point on. We have little pathways we can get through it, right? And at one point, I remember, because I could hear them as they're now going through the rest of the haunt. They don't know I'm behind them. Yeah. And the guy's all, I don't know where the coke is. and I can see him like, fuck. And the other guy getting pissed. like the other guy's like, what the fuck, dude? Like, I should never given it to you. That was the whole thing. And I'm like, oh.
No, your back trail.
So now you have got to leave. You're trespassed you can't come back on the property. And I got my headlamp on and I'm from where they said that and I fucking found this fucking huge bundle of coke that I did for the rest of the fucking, and I'm like Thomas Dolby in the back with my audio. I've got this whole audio thing and I'm like doing little sniffers and I'm like fucking, just getting through. I'm getting through the Halloween season because this one jackass put it in the wrong pocket or thought it, yeah.
They gave the coke to the wrong guy to hold.
And he's still that guy. Like tomorrow is football for us, right? That guy will be the guy who lost the coke in the haunted house. Every fucking occasion his friends get together. And it was one of my highlights.
That's great.
One of my highlights of having a haunted house.
Free drugs in any story is great as far as I'm concerned. But if you can get it from a douchebag in a haunted house, that's better.
You know what? The lovely Tracey's here. The tater tots are done. And I'm peeking. Let's get the fuck out of here.
Let's wrap it up.
Chad Shank.
Fun.
Doug Stanhope arrives tomorrow. You did a great job.
Thank you.
And there's no way that you would ever think that you could do something to where someone says you did a great job. I know the way your head works, but fantastic.
I appreciate it. I appreciate all you guys.
Hey, let me turn your mic on. Anyway, so
wrap it up.
Close it. Let's get the fuck out of here.
Let's
keep tripping and eat some. Oh, that's a mountain of tater tots.
That's a lot of tater tots.
And I still have my Twizzler because that's polite. Cheers, brother. I love you, man.
I love you guys.
Great time tonight.
Great time.
Tracy. We don't cheers an empty glass.
No.
All right.
Thanks for listening.
Oh shit.
Oh, who are we going out?
No. Fuck. You get song list?
No.
Neither of you do.
I was looking for something else. I was fucking trying to kill time while you did that. I was checking Twitter.
Please eat tater tots now.
How delicious are tater tots? Send. All right, go right.
Fuck you guys.
She's gonna eat them.
Yeah, they're delicious.
Do this. Do Ohio.
Oh, okay.
Right after you do this, we're diving into that fucking
tater tots
tower.
Now you're putting a lot of pressure on me. And we'll close with Mishka Shubaly's Ohio from his new album Coward's Path, available at DougStanhope.com. That's the best you're gonna fucking get out of me right now.
Well, she burst into flames around the junior high family dinner table, but she found a safe place in pink hair, combat boots, and black metal. A teenage witch, yes, she's a high school high priestess, failing English, but man, can she spell. Ohio, you feel like you're getting sicker, but you're just starting to get well. So she cut class and smoked grass and fell in love with the Nelsonville jail. Got her kicks on, getting sick on brown liquor, white pills, and black despair. The cancer rate's rising, so let's do some drunk driving. We'll black out at every red light in town. Ohio, if your head is spinning, it's 'cause your luck's turning round. darling, come closer, there's nothing to fear. I know the terror, the pain, the blood, the hateful tears. Baby sleeping in laundry baskets, kittens in your panty drawer. Ohio, you may feel like you're dying, but you are being reborn. Ohio, you may feel like you're dying, but you are being reborn. Ohio, you may feel like you're dying, but you have been reborn. That was pretty good.
Cheers.
Eat that shit.
Oh my God, Tracy.
I got one.
This is so crispy.
Oh, great.
Not like a violent carrot.
You know you want to.